Hello, see you again at the filming stage to accompany your time. How are you guys today? Hope you are always healthy. Don't forget to click subscribe and share as much as you can, if you have. Thank you, and let's hurry. This film tells about the atrocities of the Mafia in London, the struggle of a midwife and a driver to uncover a big Mafia rape case, but this film is a bit extreme. And bloody, yes, and because not everyone is strong enough to see some bloody scenes, let me make it short, yes, and without much chatter again. Let's look at the storyline of the Eastern Promises film. In the city of London, a young man, let's call it Mehmet, entered a barber named Asen, who at that time was cutting Siyuka's hair. One of the big mafia bosses in the city from the outside looks like Mehmet has closed the shop, and then Asen introduces Mehmet to Siyuka. It turns out that Mehmet and Asen have a previous agreement. With a little code, Mehmet immediately takes the razor and slices Siyuka's neck so that she dies. In another place, a young girl called Bute, in a weak condition, entered the pharmacy to ask for help, but had not had time to explain that all of a sudden she was bleeding until she fainted and was rushed to the hospital. It turns out that Bute is already heavily pregnant. A midwife named Anna is seen checking Bute's bag and finds a notebook. Inside, she takes it to find out Bute's true identity. In a very weak condition, the operation was immediately carried out. In the end, after the operation, the baby girl survived, but unfortunately, Bute's life could not be saved.
Identified woman died December the 20th, 2314.
In the morning, Anna was seen on her way home with a sad feeling. While riding an old motorbike belonging to her late father, she brought along a diary Bute book. At her mother's house, Anna was seen sleeping soundly due to fatigue from surgery. In the afternoon, the mother woke up Anna and asked her to eat together. There was also Anna's uncle named Stefan, who is a Russian citizen. He asked where did Anna get the diary in Russian. Step angrily forbids Anna. To take the property of a dead person is tantamount to disrespecting other people's secrets. Anna should have put the little diary in the Bute owner's coffin. Annoyed, she took the book from her uncle's hand and opened it. Here Anna finds a worker ID card at a restaurant. It turns out that the lady of the night who owns it is named Bute Sideris. Anna, curious, intends to go to the restaurant to confirm everything.
That is why I left.
From the back door of the restaurant, Nikolai the driver and Kiran, the restaurant owner, walked out. While walking, Kiran asked Nikolai to pick up Asen with his wife to attend his father's invitation party. They then passed Anna right in front of the restaurant door. They thought Anna was a prostitute sent by someone to serve Kiran's father.
Okay.
After Kiran entered, Anna pressed the doorbell of the restaurant. The owner of the restaurant, named Samyong, Kiran's father, opened the door while telling him that the restaurant was closed. Anna immediately shows her midwife's ID card while recognizing the last name of Anna Ivanovna, the child of Ivan, a person she knows. Anna is warmly welcome inside the restaurant. You can see all the waiters are busy preparing a lot of food for a party. It was Samyong who took Anna to the kitchen and asked what she meant by going to the restaurant. Anna showed Bute's work ID cards. Samyong explained that the card was issued before the renovation was long enough. Here Samyong, who is a mafia, is very good at hiding his true nature. Anna considers Samyong as a very friendly old man while apologizing if he can't help. But when Anna mentions diary Bute, Samyong's facial expression immediately changed and then offered to help Anna translate Derry's Russian book. Samyong finally asked Anna to come tomorrow at exactly 7 p.m., while offering Russian specialties to persuade Anna to come back. But for now, Anna had to go home because Samyong would be very busy handling the party held at his restaurant. Anna can only obey Samyong's wishes and leave the restaurant. Outside the restaurant, Anna again met Nikolai, who at that time praised the antique motorbike used by Anna. He also invited Anna to have a drink, but Anna did not respond to the invitation and left. At night at home, Anna's uncle also asks about Anna's boyfriend. Why did not come again to visit? Anna's uncle immediately mentioned the issue of race, black and white should not be combined, that's why Anna miscarried. Hearing the words of the annoyed uncle, Anna immediately left the dining table. Back at the Samyang restaurant, the party is going on and all that present were the big mafia together with their families. The atmosphere at the party was very lively, full of laughter. Just then Kiran received a call from someone asking him to go somewhere after.
There are no police? No. My father is not in...
After the party was over, the Kiran with Nikolai followed Asen to his place.
The upstairs rooms into...
Suddenly,
Hey.
Nikolai, who was shocked, immediately strangled Mehmet. Mehmet was just too happy because he managed to get tickets for the Arsenal vs Chelsea match. The person who paid Asen and the Mehmet killed Siyuka was a Kiran. They came to Asen's place to take Siyuka's body preserved in the freezer.
Show some respect.
Because of the extreme freezing, Nikolai had to heat the body using a hairdryer. Then Nikolai took his wallet and handed it over to Asen along with the money.
And cut off his fingers.
Asen, who couldn't bear to see what Nikolai would do next, immediately left the room to completely eliminate Siyuka's identity. Nikolai cut off all of Siyuka's fingers. After the work of eliminating identity was finished, Nikolai took Sayuka's body to a deserted alley that was directly connected to the sea. Kiran suggested to Nikolai to give him a ballast so that the body would sink. Nikolai only asked Kiran to throw the body away without any ballast, let the waves that carried it away erase the traces. At night, Anna thought hard. While looking at the Bouteille's child, she shed tears with pity in her heart. That same night Anna returned to Samyang's restaurant with a copy of the diary that had been promised before. Samyang again asked the original diary. Anna explained that she who will keep the original diary, to be given to Bouteille's child when he grows up. Samyang excuses that he can't translate it now because he's drunk on vodka. He promises to translate it tomorrow and hand it over to Anna himself.
Maybe I can.
When Samyang opened the door to take Anna out, the Kiran, who was heavily drunk, also returned with Nikolai. Seeing his son's behavior, Samyang was annoyed and immediately locked the door, but Nikolai managed to bring the Kiran in using the spare key on the Kiran. Samyang was reading a copy of diary. Bouteille became more and more annoyed with this one child's behavior. From day to day it got worse. He came to the Kiran and kicked him in the stomach. Seeing that Nikolai could only stay silent because Samyang was the father of his boss. When Nikolai came out, he saw Anna, who was trying to start her old broken motorbike. Nikolai offered to help, but the result was the same. The old motorbike still wouldn't start. Nikolai offers Anna a ride because he also happens to be leaving. On the way, Anna asks about a 14-year-old girl named Bouteille. Nikolai says he is just a driver who doesn't know anything about the 14-year-old girl Anna asked about. His job is just to follow orders left and right straight and only that, nothing more. Anna asked what she should give in return because Nikolai had helped her. With a smile, Nikolai only asked for a Christmas present from Anna. The next morning, the captain of the London police unit found Siyuka's body, and he found a tattoo of stars on his knees and shoulders. Confirmed this body was a mafia general from a mafia organization, Poriwijakoni, the most influential organization in London, but the identity of the victim is unknown because all his fingerprints have been cut off. Although the relationship between Anna and Stefan's uncle is not good, Stefan, who had briefly read the contents of the diary that Anna was holding, suggested not to show the note to anyone. The contents of the book are evidence of Bouteille's rape. This case is related to the mafia. What the mafia does is inhumane. They don't hesitate to kill anyone who looks for their troubles. After the uncle leaves, Anna explains to her mother. Anna wants to find the Bouteille family with the clues from the diary. Hearing that, the mother promised to persuade Stefan to translate it. With her mother's persuasion, Anna was willing to give the diary to her while at home. Kieran was having a party with Nikolai. Something strange happened. Kieran was either drunk or something. He forced Nikolai to rape one of his women. Nikolai, who is just a subordinate, can't refuse. He can only do what the Kieran tells him to do, and then this scene is censored. At the same time Anna was on duty at the hospital. Suddenly Samyang came uninvited. He explained that he had translated the contents of Butey's diary and his son Kieran was mentioned a lot in the notes. Here Samyang made an agreement that he would hand over the address of the Butey family, but Anna had to give up real dairy and not report her child to the police.
Baby. Inquiries where the baby belongs now.
After returning home, Anna sees her mother together. Stefan is translating the contents of the diary. They get the shocking fact that Butey is a victim of human trafficking carried out by the Mafia under Samyang's control. After that, Anna told her that Samyang came to work indirectly. Samyang threatened Anna if he didn't hand over the contents of the dairy listing, Butey's son would be in danger. After considering everything, Anna was forced to accept the deal from Samyang. At the same time, when Nikolai was repairing Anna's old motorbike, Kieran called him to show him his old French wine transaction package.
Anywhere except I got this. If Papa says okay, Papa's friends.
Suddenly old Samyang slammed the door, startling the Kieran. He asked about Siyuka's death, if the Kieran did it. Here the Kieran didn't admit it. The old man, who was getting angry, immediately hit the Kieran. Nikolai, who is experienced, took the initiative to report everything to Samyang. Asen was the one who was paid to eliminate Sayaka through his nephew Mehmet's hand. Sayaka was slit in the throat. Then Nikolai himself cleaned the fingerprints along with everything related to the evidence, so Samyang didn't have to worry about everything being resolved cleanly. With the defense of Nikolai, Kieran survived the wrath of the father, and the wine business was accepted by the father.
Oh, you heard him, Patsan.
The next day, Anna, who was accompanied by Stefan and her mother, waited for Nikolai to submit Butey's diary, but after the diary was handed over, Nikolai didn't give up anything to Anna's family. Anna asked where the promised address of the Butey family was. Nikolai just said he didn't know, his job was just to take the dairy. Stefan immediately threatens that he used to be at KGP and knows how to handle trash like Samyang. Nikolai doesn't care. He just smiled and left, but Anna doesn't give up. She chases Nikolai out. Nikolai advises Anna to stay away from Mafia-related problems. This is not the place. The Mafia world is different from the world of ordinary people. In annoyance, Stefan catches up and spit in Nikolai's face, even though he looks angry. After returning to the Nikolai restaurant reading the Butey diary, there is no emotion on his face. A moment later Samyang came and asked what was the reason for Kieran killing Siyuka, with his typical Nikolai expression, explaining that Siyuka had insulted Kieran by saying he was a drunk, sissy, and coward. Samyang realized what Sayaka said about his son was true, but he agreed with the act of getting rid of the Sayaka who had insulted his family. Then Samyang took the diary and burned it, but he was still worried. Stefan uncle Anna, who is also Russian, has read the Butey diary. Here Samyang gives orders to Nikolai to negotiate with Stefan, given that he has connections with the KGB in Russia. If the negotiations don't work out, Nikolai knows what to do next. The next morning, Nikolai met Anna to drop off his motorbike at work. He said he had found the address of the Butey family, but it was not a good place for a tomboyish little girl. He suggested that Anna should take care of the Butey baby alone with her family.
I fix it.
Moved to a crowd after watching a Mehmet ball match, who was disappointed with his beloved team losing, stopped to pee on a grave tombstone. Not long after, two men approached him and cut the neck of Mehmet. Saraya said in quote, "This is from Sayuka's brother," in quote. That night, Asen reported to Samyang that the nephew had been killed and the next target was the Kieran. They asked Asen to bring the Kieran to be executed. Samyang asked if the killers knew the Kieran. Asen said that they didn't know the Kiran. Here Samyang has a plan. He told Asen there was still a plan to bring Kiran to them. That night, Anna is seen reading a copy of Stefan's diary at the same time. It turned out that Uncle Stefan went to a place to hide for a while. From inside the car, Nikolai was seen watching Uncle Stefan. After Uncle Stefan entered, Nikolai also went inside. Continue. Nikolai and Kiran were seen returning to the restaurant. Apparently there was also Anna, who seemed to be deliberately waiting for their arrival. An emotional Anna immediately asked about Boutte. Why did Kiran have the heart to torture a 14-year-old girl? Kiran immediately got angry, at that moment, wanted to beat up Anna. He didn't care if the child was a woman. Of course, Nikolai stopped him and dragged him inside, but Anna, who didn't know her position, persisted in criticizing the Kiran. Nikolai, who couldn't stand it, scolded Anna. What Anna did was very dangerous. If she wasn't there, it was certain that Kiran would kill Anna. When Nikolai and Kiran entered the kitchen, Samyang asked for Kiran go away, picking up wine in the cellar. Samyang deliberately avoids Kiran because he wants to talk business with Nikolai. He plans to make Nikolai one of the generals of the Mafia, with that position meaning Nikolai will become one of the most influential people in the city of London, equivalent to Sayaka, Samyang's rival gangster who was killed by Kiran. Then Nikolai goes to the basement. He tells Kiran that he will be appointed a general even though he is a little annoyed. Kiran still congratulates him by hugging Nikolai.
Start a fucking birth.
3 days later it was time for the arrangement to confirm Nikolai as the general of the Mafia organization, which was attended by other high-ranking Mafia groups.
Когда я начал замечать Креста, сидел, что на власти я был.
Кто?
Да. Нет ни отца, ни матери. Поэтому будет заполнено.
Мертвец.
Here Nikolai is given a tattoo with a star symbol on his two chest and knees, which has the meaning of not submitting to anyone, but for Samyang the appointment is in line with his plan. He intends to sacrifice Nikolai in place of the Kiran because only information about the tattoos on the chest and knees is known to the killers. Anna, who was sleeping, was woken up by her mother, who said that Uncle Stefan had disappeared without a trace. The mother asked Anna to ask Nikolai about the disappearance of Uncle Stefan. At the same time, Nikolai accepts Asen's invitation to go to the sauna to congratulate him on his inauguration.
Our lines to Kabul. Why? Valery Nabokov. The television sets have cargo.
After a short conversation, Asen asked permission to go to the restroom. Apparently he sneaked out to meet two killers assigned by another Mafia to kill Kiran. Asen told them that Kiran was inside. There were star tattoos on his chest and knees. The two people went inside sauna. After Nikolai with tattoos on his chest and knees, these two killers immediately attacked Nikolai and a fight broke out between them. Because this fight was too vulgar, let's keep it short. For those who are curious, just watch the film. Because to be shown on YouTube, this scene in my opinion is very extreme. This scuffle ended with Nikolai's victory. Even though the two killers succeeded, Nikolai suffered 3 stab wounds to the back of his ribs and right hand, and this ended up lying in the hospital. After the treatment was finished, Anna went to Nikolai. Here Anna asked him where Uncle Stefan was, and Nikolai said that his Uncle Stefan was still alive, hiding in the Caledonian Hotel in one of the cities in London. Curious, Anna asked why Nikolai saved his family, but Nikolai was silent without answering. A moment later, the captain of the London police unit came to the hospital. It turned out that his goal was to visit Nikolai. Here it was revealed that Nikolai was an undercover agent. Basically, Nikolai was a gangster who had been imprisoned in Siberia. Because of his expertise, the government recruited him to be an agent who infiltrated the organization. Biggest mafia in London. The records found by the police in Sayuka's body were previously a report to the police unit regarding the actions of the mafia organization under Samyang's control. The captain initially wanted to withdraw Nikolai because the information about Samyang was complete, but when Nikolai showed a star tattoo on his chest, the captain was convinced he would let him continue running. His role is to infiltrate further into the organization to eradicate them to the root. Here Nikolai advises the captain to arrest Samyang on charges of raping a woman named Bute. The evidence is strengthened by the DNA of the Bute child, who is currently being raised by Anna with witness Uncle Stefan, who has read Bute's diary. Of course their DNA will match. Samyang as a biological grandfather from Listine Bute. The next day, when Kiran was filling balloons from CCTV which saw many policemen coming to the restaurant, but he didn't care, his father would be able to handle everything. When Samyang appeared in Kiran's kitchen, asking what the police were doing going to the restaurant, the father explained that they only took his blood and only then they left immediately. Then Samyang asks Kiran to do the task of taking Listine's baby from the hospital and eliminate her because the police will definitely use the baby to accuse her of being a rapist. At the hospital, when Anna wanted to go home, she saw Kiran entering the elevator with a large bag with her. Anna immediately rushed to check on the baby Listine, but it was too late. Immediately went to Nikolai asking for help because Kiran had kidnapped Listine, and they immediately went on Anna's old motorbike to the dumping ground in a narrow alley where Nikolai dumped Sayuka's body. Kiran walked to the beach while holding baby Listine in a drunken state. Kiran actually cried after knowing that Bute gave birth to a baby girl. Kiran was a little sympathetic. After all, Listine's baby was still flesh and blood. High with the urging of the father, Kiran was forced to do it. When he is ready to throw Listine in the water, Anna and Nikolai arrive at the right time. Nikolai persuades him by saying they are not mafia killer babies. That is very shameful. The old man Samyang will soon be imprisoned for life, and now Kiran is the boss. No one will dare to anger him anymore. With the persuasion of Nikolai, Kiran gives the baby Listine to him, and apologizes to him because Samyong plans to sacrifice himself. Nikolai says that he has forgiven him. He is willing to follow Kiran to climb the highest peak of the mafia. Here it was drunk with Kiran very happy. He immediately went to the car with a happy mood, then handed the baby Listine to Anna, asking her to take care of Listine, asking Anna to treat her like her own child, and then censor YAA. Then Samyang was arrested on various charges. He was sentenced to life imprisonment while the organization was completely handed over to Nikolai. The higher-ups did not believe in Kiran, a reckless and unfit to lead a mafia organization. This is the end of the struggle of a midwife and driver to uncover the secret of a big mafia rape, and the film is finished. Mimin, thank you for still faithfully watching this video. Thank you.